Alrighty. Hello, everyone. Incredible afternoon if you're watching this live. If not, incredible Wednesday or incredible day, depending on when you're watching this, if you're watching the playback of it. All right. Let me just go on here real quick. I'm so happy I could actually go live on my business page. But it's not completely fixed because I'm still facing the issue of people claiming copyright to my voice. Boom. There we go. All right. So, hello, everyone. How are you guys doing? I am Shakia, the professor of HS Inc. 365 LLC. We are the parent company of Silaholics Anonymous. Our product line, honestly speaking, where we carry the absolute best sublimation paper, sublimation ink, pigment ink, and other accessories on our website, shop.hsinc365.com and 365 Creative Academy, where I help you to unlock your creativity. Today, we are going to have a heart-to-heart, business owner to business owner. I was going... dealing with some things, and I felt like a lot of the times people talk about a lot of the great stuff and not necessarily the things that as entrepreneurs we should be cautious of in how we want to grow, the growth that we think we're ready for, and just how we move, how we make certain decisions. And I think from a fear of not appearing successful or great at what someone does, especially when you are considered to be an authority in something and people look up to you. I think sometimes people shy away from talking about the not so great parts, even when we experience them, because of feeling like, man, is it going to make it seem like, I don't have it all together? Am I not as successful? And and it might be just me, because that is kind of how I feel. I try to be very open and honest and transparent about a lot of things. I've shared so many ups and downs. There were days where we barely got a sale, and I made a whole post about that. There are up and down days from it. And in that, I also wanted to talk about just understanding growth and what that means, and understanding what level of growth you are ready for, and learning how to accept maybe where you are and then building to the level that you want to be at. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And it's really going to be based off of something that happened with an order that we're working on. And just forward thinking to, this is where we are now with an order like this. But let's say within 6 months from now, a year from now, maybe when we are able to even elevate from the space that we've grown to now, what would doing an order like this look like in the future? And that's kind of how I take, that's the approach I take in business, is really forward thinking. And not to say beating myself up, but what's what I'm looking for, but not prejudging or trying to predetermine our growth based off of how something is now. All right. So that is what we're going to talk about. Hopefully this helps others and is encouraging to others based off of where you are now. And if you are someone that is beating yourself up, thinking that you should be somewhere else in a different position, or you should be able to do, different things because of the equipment you have, or just, because you had this vision, that sometimes you got to take baby steps, and understand that the profit margin may not be there how you think it should. All right. So that's what we're going to talk about today. All right. Is it okay if I talk to y'all on a business level and be very real and transparent? Is that okay if I'm very open and transparent with you guys right now? All right, let's go over here and say hello. Hello, how are you doing? Thank you so much, everybody. Incredible morning or afternoon, incredible Wednesday, no matter. Ooh, from Italy. Ooh, nice. But incredible morning. Thank you guys for joining me for this live broadcast. You could be doing anything right now. But I thank you guys for jumping on with me, that you saw the notification and you clicked on and said hi, and you joined me. Hi, Princess. I actually have to inbox you. Hello. Yes, please. We need it, of course. Yes. All right, cool. So we are about, so I'm in the office now. If you guys don't know, I'm in Miami Gardens, well, Miami, Florida. And so although we're not getting hit like with the majority of it, we're getting like the outer bands of it. School is closed. Whew, that 4-year-old of mine is dancing on a nerve. But we decided to, which I actually have to put it, I'm going to send it out. The orders won't go out today. I am in the office, but even is home with the kids because both of them are home due to the storm. And with the stuff that I have to kind of set up, we didn't want to necessarily like have them in the way or them be like too bored here, because if they're here and they're on all of their devices, as of right now, the internet is like not super great here. So if they're all on their devices, like to watch TV or be entertained, it's going to make everything move 1,000 times slower, especially my 7820. Y'all, people, we often talk about like how great printers are and we convert them, but there's going to be a couple of things, right? I'm going to talk about my experience with this 7820. There is someone who, look, and she's there. I saw the email. I'm actually going to email you back. And there was a reason why. And we're trying to figure out what to do because of our experience with it, right? And not really wanting to, we're trying to figure it out. So I'm going to end up inboxing or emailing you back as in reference to the 7820. But I have to do all that and trying to print over there. It prints slow with the Wi-Fi. I may end up having to bring that one over here and plug it directly into the computer, or my laptop that's actually in that area. Just open up the file on my laptop, open up on Silhouette, and then plug it into that printer and see if that helps it print faster. So that's one of the reasons why we haven't sent a printer yet, because I want to do that test first, because it's driving me nuts. We were going to go, we do have additional 7720s and things in the storage unit, but I was like going back and forth. I'm like, dang it, do I really want to set that up just for this order, right? We sometimes in creative business, and that's only business I can, don't get me wrong, I know business on so many levels because over time I've done business in so many levels, like in so many different things. But my core thing right now is like in this creative business. I know some people like to call it craft business. I personally don't, but just so that you can kind of put it in context in this craft business, okay, or creative business. There's times where we make decisions based off of like what we see others are doing, and it may not be the right decision at the time, and we kind of really have to weigh that. And that's where I really am right now with weighing something, okay? So I have an order to do. You guys saw when I was doing the rags and stuff. Well, there is a Super Bowl coming up. And so we are, we've been outsourced as a company to provide those to them, basically wholesale. So it's about 300 rags we're going to have to print out and press. So the last time when we did these, we ran into a lot of issues, right? One, I had several orders at that one time. So from one company, we had 2 sets of orders. It was for to put basically eco-solvent prints on 6 tablecloths. And it was also the rags, which like 150 of those. And then I had 2 other orders for shirts, all kind of going at the same time. One of them kind of like last minute. And then I also had the cheer signs, which, hey, she didn't pick up her cheer signs. Their competition must be, hopefully, I don't know if their competition is this weekend. But, doing Sublimation, listening to you from Japan. Oh, wait, let's screenshot this for MJ. All right, cool beans. And that one is always, they'll always show up. So I'm going to just kind of give you guys like a timeline of how this, like some of this transpired, right? I got the call Sunday night or Monday night about the racks, right? Immediately kind of knew in my head, going to keep it real simple as far as the design. And we proceeded to go ahead and order the rags, right? No. I'm sorry. I'm going to back up because it was, I think, first it was a playoff game. And that's how we originally came about, how it originally came about with this. So it was, I got it like on a Sunday, and it was not for a lot of the towels, like the rags. And we ordered them. I worked on the design, kept it real cute, kept it real simple. And we did those. Turned out to be a hit. They wanted them for the cheer competition because that was the next one up. And then now we have Super Bowl. And so for competition, it's like a lot of teams. It's 15 different teams. So wanting it to be to where it wasn't just generic and they could go and they can rep their team. So that means that these have to be designed, right? Knew it was kind of coming up, but wasn't quite like sure. I end up getting like I got the images of the teams, but a lot of them were not great. Some of them I already had, because I've worked in this league before. So some of them I already had. I was able to really do those up like real quick. I also had other things I was working on, like I'm working on certain classes. I see the inboxes, I see the emails. When is the next class? Like I'm so far behind. I didn't realize that the free file on my site was way from August. I haven't even changed it. It's just a lot going on with the move, with prepping for new classes. Like I want it the way I want the classes to be. Is like I want a totally different experience. I'm trying to do some things that I've never done before, and I don't want to rush into it to where I'm not 1000% satisfied with the way the classes are. So it's like all of this stuff. Then with the move, there's a lot of stuff going on in the back of the house that we've been working on for a really long time to get our products on one of the most shopped platforms, having to do like your UPCs because we have branded products. So doing all of that, you don't realize how many branded products you have and how many of them you have to like create UPCs for, because everything has to have one. So the individual, what's the thing I'm looking for? Bottles of ink, individual packs of paper, the multi-packs, the bundle, like all of these things. So having to create all of that between myself and even, trying. So it's a lot of back of the house stuff that's been going on. Trying to set it up for us to be more so of a print shop here locally. A lot of stuff with that website. So do understand it's a whole lot going on. And that's why I've been kind of delayed with putting the classes out there. I'm trying my best not to spread myself too thin. But, working on all of that, getting this, kind of put in my lap. And I will take responsibility for the fact that I waited, in hindsight, feeling like I waited too long to start the process for designing the rags, right? So when I say, understanding the growth that you want as a business, we are growing leap by leaps and bounds. But not to say are we ready for it, but like being fully prepared that's not being prepared, understanding it, right? Trying to do all these different things. And even though we have help between even in the staffer, my mom, and just help, it's like all around, like help with the kids, because there's also family stuff. I underestimated like all the stuff we were working on and then taking this order on, and so I ended up having to wait to the last minute. So here we are, the day before they are due, or technically the day of. In my mind, I'm thinking, all right, I know how to do this. It's going to be easy. I'm going to just, already have the design in my head because I did it for everybody else who I had the logos for. I get to the logos where My God, my God, those things were horrible. And I refuse to compromise on quality if I can avoid it. Because I say that, but then I was tired. And some of my tablecloths, you can tell where I was tired at. But if I can avoid it, I try to not compromise. So if someone sends me something, if I am able to, I'm going to correct and fix the images. I end up having to recreate 6 out of the 15 images because I just couldn't see wasting this good old, honestly speaking, sublimation ink and paper on something that just wasn't going to look great. At the end of the day, it was going to be in front of people who will see our products. I mean, even when the person who outsourced, who hired us to make these, they know people that do sublimation, and they were like, "Oh my god, like the color on this is amazing! Like, what paper she used?" And she was like, "Yo, my girl is dope. She got her own paper line. Y'all need to get this. Drop all the stuff that y'all use. I'm telling y'all, it's dope. It's dope. It's dope." And so she got on me because we're starting now to promote a lot more locally. Like a lot of local people don't know, like they got the best sublimation paper in the industry right here in their backyard. So it was still like an honor to be able to do those, right? And I had the design and all that stuff, but I refused to like compromise on those. So I'm like, okay, these are not going to be that bad. I can do in my mind because I'm great at what I do. I allotted myself maybe 2 hours because I knew I had like 6 of them to do. Some of them really, really, really easy to do. Um, Hold on one second. I'm actually glad I took that one. That was my neighbor, and I'm gonna have to do some things for them. Okay, so I thought that it would take me 2 hours to kind of get through them. But one of them, looking for a decent picture, took about 30 minutes. Then trying to like fix them all. One I had to recreate from scratch, and that turned into what I allotted for 2 hours to do them, literally turned into 4.5 hours. For a couple different things. Like it wasn't like straight on, it was like a lot of the different things we had to kind of deal with. I purchased a roll-in printer. I have said countless times that I purchased my roll-in printer for adhesive vinyl. Like it was to create like our decals and things for us that we needed for our business, not necessarily to use it for creating like doing orders. It was for our business. And that's kind of how I thought of it, right? And more so adhesive vinyl stuff, not really HTV things. So ordered the HTV, and the company that I ordered it from, it doesn't come on a core. It was on like they just kind of like they have theirs on a core, and they measure out how many yards you need and they give it to you like just regular. Well, it has to go on a core for the roller. So I go wrap it onto like a different core or whatever, thinking, okay, this is going to work. And what happens? Because it was uneven, I messed up like 2 prints in the beginning. One, even before messing up the prints, I'll do things, right? Like do different prints. And it's like for us, we'll print out our stickers and print out different things. And it's like not ever really, okay, now I can't answer that one. It's not ever really like thinking about like the time frame, right? So what I did, these, and I did a video, it's on TikTok. I'm not sure I posted on Facebook. It said that it was going to take 1 hour to print one set of these prints. In my mind, I'm thinking they're not that big. It's not going to take that much time. And it literally took 1 hour per set. I had to do 6 tablecloths. But because I had never gone and put that type of image, I've done pages of stickers. Like hold on, I'm going to show you one of ours. This right here was actually a little bit bigger because this is the small sticker that we used to put in the boxes, like for you guys. So we have one that goes on our packages, 3-inch sticker. Have done like 100 of those, and it didn't take an hour. So I'm like, okay, well, this is just 2 pieces, and it's just 2 cut. Like, it was a straight cut. It wasn't a whole lot of like separated parts. I'm like, okay, 45 minutes at the most, 30 minutes, 45. It said 61 minutes. So actually over an hour. So now I'm like, oh shit, this is going to take 6 hours just to print these out. Just to print them out. 6 hours. A lot of people will tell you the rolling is like so great. I made a video and I was saying that if you want to do transfers or you want to do high production, that the rolling is not it. I got messages saying that, oh, that's not true. You really can. I have a business and I use it for this. Well, I don't know the level that you use yours on, or what else you have going on. But to me, that was crazy that for one job, my printer would be held up for 6 hours. When we basically price it based off of like the material, the ink, and then like a general number as far as like printing it, but it was going to tie my printer up for 6 hours. That's why it's really, really hard to tell people how much something is going to cost, because now I really have to like create it and almost put it in the system. So it's like, man, how do you really determine that? Because I would have never thought that it took an hour to print those out. 1 hour. So now how do I adjust that for the next person? Because not every job takes an hour. So when it comes to pricing it, it's almost like losing money, because for 6 hours, I could not, if I was in like a high production situation, I would be so far behind on any orders because of how long it took on that rolling. And then there were issues and mistakes. Like, it literally bunched up and then it stopped in the middle. Luckily, your girl it's been in this a while to where I didn't necessarily like full on panic, because I knew what I was going to have to do to fix it. But then guess what? I had to come back to the drawing board. Like, I had to come back to my computer, and I had, hey, Javia, hey, Danielle, hey, Life Changes Crafts, and Trina. So look, it's going off now. I forgot to turn it off too, because it's gonna, Lord, the maintenance on these things. People talk about, oh, I want a printer. Like, I'd rather have this one because it does self-maintenance. You know what I think? Every time my rolling does self-maintenance, that is money down the drain, because it is filtering ink every single time. Ink that can't be used is not on something. Like, we went through a set of cartridges in the time when we were not like making anything, because it was just doing self-maintenance. So pricing wise, you have to almost like monitor it and see how many times it goes through like the self-maintenance and how much ink you're using, to where you got to build that into your cost. Like, y'all, this business stuff and figuring out prices is not black and white. This ish is not something that is easy. It is forever changing. So now I'm like feeling back. So I'm like, like I said, 6 hours. Had I been in a situation where I promised people a turnaround, because let's say like all the other jobs, okay, I can get it printed in 30 minutes. If it was for like a cup wrap, okay, that's going to take 15 minutes. And I'm basing it off of that. Okay, I can do, different things. But this takes 6 hours. In my mind, I'm like, okay, well, I need to have another machine, because I can't have this tied up. But you can't make a knee-jerk decision like that to say, okay, I want to pay freaking $6,000 again because I want to have 2 machines. And just on the off chance I have a job that's going to tie it up for 6 hours, and I now need to pump out other orders. I mean, it's a good thing if you are consistently running them and there is a need for it, but we have to be smart in business and not make a decision just because of one order and one situation. Um, yes, it requires a lot. So it's not that it requires a lot of maintenance, but because of how it is, like bigger printers do self-maintenance. Like they filter the ink themselves to keep them to keep, especially because of like how the ink is, and we have the metallic ink to keep it from settling and keep it from like getting clogged in the lines. It literally will cycle through ink, and whenever it's doing that, it's pulling ink. So it's just kind of crazy like that it can waste so much ink. But anywho, do I need to invest, uh another $6,000 just to get another one, or even invest $20,000 right now when we may not need it because of frustration with that taking so long? So then I screwed up again. This is understanding growth in business, and sometimes we're trying to do things and you have a lot of stuff on your mind. So even when, I'm here, I'm setting everything up, I'm going through all of this, I'm thinking, okay, it's going to print, it's going to cut perfectly, all this stuff. Sent even to go get more vinyl because, like I said, the first two screwed up. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to have enough vinyl. And then also trying to make adjustments, like with the Roland, when it prints, the amount of vinyl that it wastes is friggin' ridiculous. So after every print, all 12 prints print, because as it tries to pull it back, trust me, I know, I've tried it. If you do too long of a run, once it's pulling it back and it gets off track, there's nothing you can do. You can't go back in, and if you didn't put print and cut marks on it, you can't go and line that sucker back up and say, okay, cut the outline, because sometimes it'll move forward, it'll move back. You never know where in the heck it's going to cut at. So there is no fixing it. You end up doing like I had to do for 4 out of the 12, because it was 6 tables, 2 on each. Yeah. So 4 out of the 12, I had to hand cut. Luckily, I'm great with a straight blade, but I had to hand cut 4 out of the 12 and piece together 2, 3 out of the 12. So it was no fun because it went and it got bunched up, and I'm in here and all I hear is do 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 do. That is the sound. And I'm screaming. My mom was like, "What's wrong? It's still printing." I said, "Not for long." And then sure enough, by the time I get over there, it goes back. The little light is flashing, and you have to just basically start the print over. Got to a point to where trying to print 2 of them, I would get through to where it will print the first one, right? And then when it gets to the second one, it stops. That happened twice. First one prints, second one stops. I can't keep doing this. So I had to come back to the computer. Mind you, this is in the midst, and that's why I said it ended up taking me 4.5 hours to finish all of the edits, because I'm trying to print that part out, thinking, okay, that's going to be on autopilot. Nope, it's not. So in the middle of me fixing these logos, I now have to come back because I now need to create new files. One that has like a little cutoff piece so that I can piece it back together. Then I had to separate the 2 images so that they now print as their own individual one. And I have to do them as single prints instead of double prints. So when I'm doing them as single prints, there was a certain maintenance cycle that happens after every single print versus like when it's printing and it's kind of going continuously. And like, okay, you'll get the maintenance cycle after that one. For every 2, it'll be 1 maintenance cycle. Now there's a 1 after every single print. Didn't account for that. So many things in business, and as we want to grow, we want growth, a lot of people rush into it and you're not ready for it. You are not ready for the growth. Be very careful. It is not to be negative. It is not to say that you cannot do it. It is not, it's going to be some frustrating days, but just be very mindful. I got frustrated, but at the same time, I also know that because of my experience and because I've taken the time over the years, I was able to troubleshoot and figure out what I needed to do in a timely manner where I didn't have the luxury of saying, okay, I can figure this out. This was literally due that night. My husband and I left here at 3:30 in the morning. 3:30 in the morning. So I knew it makes no sense to keep wasting vinyl. A lot of you guys would have just kept trying to print it and waste vinyl. So like for me, it was like, nope. Happened twice, not gonna happen again, y'all. You won't get me a third time. So come in, have to reset the files up, have to send them individually, and then have to do them one at a time. I was worried at this point because there were so many mess ups. We did have vinyl, like remember he went to the store and got vinyl. But also remember what I said at the beginning, it doesn't come on a core. So I had to wait for that vinyl to finish so that I can then roll the vinyl onto the other core and try to make sure that it's nice and level, because if it's not and it kind of shifts, guess what's going to happen as it's feeding through this lovely machine. I love you, Roro. I really do, because I got to print some stuff on you, so don't listen to me talking about you. So I have to wind this stuff up on there. And if I screw up like I did last time, it is not on correctly, and it goes and does this nice little shift, I now ruin more vinyl. So, and I asked them, like, y'all sure you don't have it on a cord? I love supporting that company, right? But I can't go through that again. So sometimes you will have to make decisions where, although you might want to support a company, you may have to walk away from it. And it's understanding your growth and the growth that you want to have, that you have to make certain decisions that's going to be best for your company. Because I had even asked them, is there no way they can put it on a core? I don't know if they're necessarily selling these to people who have like the converted eco-solvent printers, because I'm like, for anyone that has a printer, you know that, like, I mean, a real eco-solvent latex printer, it's not a desktop printer. You can't just cut down sheets. It has to be on a roll. How am I supposed to do this? Like, what am I supposed to do here? And it's like, I mean, you can kind of feed it in if it's shorter runs, but the tension really does help. Again, ask me how I know, because I've gone and I've just put it in there and I've screwed some stuff up big time trying to do it that way. That's why I know that I have to put it on the core. So I'm trying to save as much HTV as possible. So like I said, it puts a big gap in between where the last job ends and where the new job starts. So after every single one, because remember, I could no longer do it where there were two together, and I had them strategically designed where there was a little gap in between it. I could not do it that way anymore. So what did I have to do after every single print? Go over to the rolling, roll that paper, roll that vinyl back so that it started to print in the open area, so that I'm not wasting vinyl, because I only had but so much, because that was a special type of vinyl. I don't keep that one in stock. The color print easy, yes. The color print subly thin, because it's made for polyester. These are black polyester tablecloths. I have to use the subly thin. You can't use Caesar color print easy, because it will, the dye from the polyester will bleed through. So this is a special type of material that costs a little bit more money. We don't buy this one like in major rolls like we do everything else. So I'm trying to be very cautious. So you know what that does? That now takes up more time, because after every single print, I can't just let it print. I got to go to the printer and I have to move it to the exact spot so that it doesn't overlap. How do I know it's going to overlap? Because I rolled it too far and it overlapped and it cut one of them. That sucker still went on that dang old tip. I'm going to tell you that, because it wasn't really that bad. But then I had to like take a picture to make sure that every time I rolled it to that point, like I had to have a visual of, okay, it needs to be about right here to make sure that it doesn't overlap. So it's like all of these things that we're not like, you're not prepared for. And that's what I meant as far as like not being prepared for. You don't know all the things that can happen when you're saying, yes, I want to have this growth. I want to be booked and busy. But booked and busy also means that you need to know how to troubleshoot out of yourself, out of a situation. If you focus on just learning certain things and it's just the surface level, and you're not really focusing on the back ends of it or the troubleshooting part of it, the part that most people consider to be boring, you're going to lose so much money, so much time. If I wasn't who I am, if I didn't have the experience that I have, that could have been a disaster. I could have like been in a situation because I couldn't run. Like we're at this point when it was happening, like the store is closed. I cannot get any more vinyl. By the time that they do open up, it would have been 2 hours into competition. So now what happens with HS Ink Prints and Designs as a brand? So now I'm like, man, do I ever, now it's like a fear. Like, do I ever want to do this again? I'm like, this is team too much. Being on the verge of like, feeling like you want to give up because it's overwhelming. My anxiety was through the roof. If it was not for Brittany and them being on live and like I jumped on and I realized like because I was on with other people, I was able to calm down. But before that, I was silently going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Even with my husband here, I was going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs in this because I'm like, did I set myself up? Yes, I wanted people to know about our company. Yes, I want people to come to me for orders. But dude, I don't think I was ready for this. Like I felt like I set myself up to fail. And I was praying and praying and praying and praying the whole way through. Like every time I hit print, Lord, just let it print. And then like when it printed out, trying to, even put them on the tablecloths and stuff, right? So trying to do that. We couldn't find the plug to our second one. And that I'm thinking, hey, we got multiple heat presses. We're ready to go. He'll be able to knock it out over here. I got my easy presses to set it up. I'm going to take it to the other press. Couldn't find the dang on cord to the other press. So here we are where he has to finish 150 towels. And then after he finished 150 towels is then when I can go, y'all hear me say I had to press 6 of them. And it was 2 prints per tablecloth. So you have to press 12 prints that they were 22 long because I ended up having like to overlap. So my little press is only 16 by 20. 16 by 20. So having to press them twice per tablecloth after I had to press them about 6 times in sections with the easy press. So that way they were at least tacked down. And then when I brought it over here, I'm just like sealing it in so it don't fall off when they wash it. Yeah, it was a lot. You got to understand the growth that you are asking for and whether or not you can handle it. I thank God for the husband that I got, baby, because some people don't have that. Some of you guys are doing this by yourselves. And as much as you want that growth, you may not be able to handle it. And is it worth your sanity? It is okay to start and understand what start means in this, right? That your profit margins may not be that high, and it's okay because you can build to that. Today, or should I say last week, I had to struggle with this. But now I'm even more determined to make sure that I do have the workload and I do have a couple of those nights where I have major anxiety because it's going to mean that I now am justified in buying this bigger printer. I'm justified in needing to get a large format heat press and maybe not just one, but 2 of them. I'm about to now go and print these out, which I actually should have been doing now and not talking to y'all. Hold on one second. I really should have actually hit print. I don't know what I was thinking. I really should have hit print before I started talking to y'all, because they could have been printing out right now. But it's like in my mind, I'm like, dude, what if I had the big 36-inch white printer or even bigger, and I have the big press? I don't have to print them out one by one. I can literally do a sheet. I can put the rags on that one sheet, flip it, and then let it press, right? Where now I have to let them print one by one by one by one. I have to press one by one by one by one. Am I going to get the job done? Yes. Am I going to make a nice profit? Hell yeah. But it is going to take up so much time. And in that time, if you only have one printer and you have a major job, that means whatever you price that job out for, that is all the money that you can make in that moment, unless you have other things that you can do. Maybe while it's printing out, maybe that's the time that you work on the back house, like the back end of your business. Maybe that's when you work on creating, some type of digital product. Maybe that's where like you do other things that maybe not make you money then, but maybe write down the pros and cons of how you're doing this so that the next time it can be better. Because I'm about to tie up my printer. And the only reason why I don't have the second printer is because it's raining. So I'm gonna have to rely on the 7820, which if you send it one, so this is what I've realized about the 7820. If you send one print at a time, it prints out super fast. But if you send multiples to that thing, I don't know why it feels the need. Look, homie, I didn't tell you to preserve ink. Like, I just need you to print. But if I send multiples to this printer, it prints slow as molasses. But if I go in and I literally send it one by one, like I would have to go file, print, file, print. Like if I needed 25 of them, I would have to go file, print 25 times versus being able to just put in 25. Because the moment you put in 25, it's like, I don't know if I'm going to have enough ink. I don't know. I want to make sure. How do I have to print this to make sure that I can print out all 25? Look here, homie, I don't need you to figure that out. If you run out of ink, you run out of ink. I'm going to go ahead and replace you and then keep it moving, keep it pushing and print the next one. So that is my biggest con about the workforce printers. A lot of people will say, hey, they're great, which I was saying they were great. But at the time, I also was sending like single prints or maybe like 2 or 3 prints. Or if it was a really long print, there's still one long print. I'm not sending a bunch of prints. So now trying to send 15, send 20. Oh, baby, it showed its ASS. It showed its true colors. So sometimes we will get things and we really don't understand fully, like if it's the right thing for our business. And I like that printer for one-offs. Whenever I have to do big orders, baby, I'm so glad I have 2 7720s and a 7210. And that's probably what we're going to end up sending you. Although we said the 7820, I'm gonna be nice because I don't want to do you like that. And I'm probably going to send you one of my 7720 so that you can still have the scanner. And that's why I hadn't responded yet, because we want to most likely send you one of those. But the 7210 was rocking and rolling, right? That one, not so much. So it's like, now I'm kind of like in this weird space. Yes, we have orders, but for the orders that we normally have, a lot of the times they are one-offs. And we can do one-offs between the 2 sublimation printers that we have. Although I like big orders, they are not the majority right now. So we cannot make decisions about what's not the majority right now and wanting to, like, for me, I don't have to buy one. It's just a matter of setting it up. But I'm looking at our space. And although we have expanded and we have more space, I'm asking myself, do I have space for another printer? Where in the heck is this sucker going to go? Because it sure enough can't go in this closet. The shelf that has the other printers, it sure enough can't go over there. So if I do that, I can't just set this printer up for sublimation and do this job and then go ahead and put it back in storage, because then it's going to dry up. That means me opening up this printer, me setting up this printer means that I need to use this printer on a regular basis now. One of the reasons why I haven't set up my Sawgrass, I know I probably won't use it on a regular basis, and I'm not trying to really feel like I waste $500, you know? So it's like, what do I do at this point? Do I go and basically just tie up my printer and try and print all of these out on that one and literally work until probably crunch hour? Or do I go and get this printer and set it up where I may not? Or do I get it and I'm like, well, I want to have faith that all these orders will continue to pour in and it won't just sit there. But then I'm like, Shakia, do you know all the ish that you're trying to do right now? Okay, you can have all the faith you want. You can go and listen to all the motivation and you can do it and all this. But you have other things that you are working on. So you can, like, is it, I'm talking about me. So it may touch you, but this is me telling myself, you a damn idiot for wanting more when you know that you cannot handle it. Although I may want the growth, and yes, we all would like to see the day where we just have orders of 300 of this, 300 of that coming in. But if you aren't prepared mentally, if you aren't prepared equipment wise, if you aren't prepared staff wise, you are setting yourself up for failure in the beginning. You may go and find your stride, but I'm telling y'all, this is from someone who is being very, very open and transparent that it's not easy. As easy as YouTube University make it seem, and you can do this and you can do that, and people will talk about business and making six figures, a lot of the times they don't talk about the sacrifices that they make. The fact that, my husband had to bring me food here. The fact that I'm grateful that I actually have, my mom here that was able to take my kids home where they could take a bath in their own bathroom. They can go to sleep in their own bed. And I didn't have to have it where my kids will sleep on the cot that we have here from them. I have a 4-year-old. He needs naps. So we have a little like cot and a little bed here. But if we didn't have a support system, it's like, what position would I put my kids in that night? Because me even didn't leave here till 3:30 in the morning. Are you prepared for the growth? Like, can you handle the growth that you are praying for? I'm never trying to be Debbie Downer. I'm just trying to be a realist. I figured maybe if I don't just like talk about it and I'm just saying, hey, don't do this, but I'm telling you my experience that just happened while it's fresh on my brain. And so hopefully, it gives you guys some insight. It makes it to where you want to write the vision and make it plain. And you really are taking account of how long things take before you go. And I will tell you this, for those tablecloths, I did not make, so my mom asked like, okay, like as far as like how much? And I was like, to be honest, I had never done something that way before. So I've done tablecloths and I've done them with like heat transfer vinyl. I've done ones where it's like one print or like one design and I can print it out. I can put it on there and I can just press it, right? Well, this is something where it was two different things. So having to space them out from the sides, the top, the middle, and trying to get them to all be uniform is something that I've never done before. Having to tack them down to then put them on my heat press, something that I've never done before. So I did not charge for this one based off of me being an expert on it, because I feel like my payment is learning that, like going through this process that I've done vinyl. And just because you've done something one time, I've gone and I put, where's that shirt? This is the same exact vinyl that was on those tablecloths. Yet when I printed this, and to me, I feel like, the size of some of these, it took less time. I don't know. This has way more color to it to me than the other one, but this took less time. And then this had intricate cuts. Like y'all see, like that's not like black vinyl, like that's the shirt. So it had to do cuts inside each one of these like little areas inside here. And it took less time for this. And I printed out quite a bit of them. And then like having to weed this, I can't go and make a decision or set a price because I'm like, oh, it's just eco solvent. I put it on a shirt before. Oh, I've done tablecloths before because I've put vinyl on them before. This is a different process. So until you experience that, and if you've done just one, because I did one, because I ended up doing a transfer and I ended up sending it to somebody, but doing one versus doing 12 different prints, 6 tablecloths at one time, that's something that I've never had to do. I've had to do one. I've had to even do 2 at a time, but doing 6 at a time when you are also working on another order at the same time that has to be printed and you're waiting for those prints to come out and it takes a minute to print, minute and a half to print, 30 seconds to press. So what do you think happens? Like you're literally, it's slowing you down. So that's why we said now we're going to print all those suckers out, which I would have technically done before, but like I said, I did not get a chance to even touch the designs until the date it was due. And then between my printer issues and having to redo designs, what I thought was going to take me 2 hours going back and forth, I did not finalize the last logo until 4.5 hours later. There's so much to this creative business. There's so many things that can go wrong in this creative business with making shirts, making tumblers, whatever it is, whatever you're doing, your hand making stuff. There's so many things that can go wrong. And if you guys are not taking account of that, you're not going to be able to handle the growth because you're thinking it's all easy peasy. And it's like, okay, it's just going to be this multiplied by 1,000,000 for me to make all this money. But when you have to do a bunch of stuff, it's not the same as when you're doing 1 or 2. Even if you do 5, doing 300 of something where you're used to doing 5 is different. Your pricing is different. That's why I've said before, you're going to take on more to work overtime and y'all are giving out discounts. I'm not saying these things just to say them. I'm saying them because I've lived them. I've been through it. But it was before now, it was a fear of, well, if you say this, well, how can you be such, you want to be a business coach, you want to do this, but you can't handle your own business. It's not that I can't, it's just that things happen. And so it was a fear of being judged like, okay, well, why are we going to listen to you if you can't even figure it out? Like, how are you going to tell us what to do? But what I'm saying, like, remember, I'm saying that is because at some point I've dealt with it a little bit. So that's just my, it's not all peaches and cream doing this. You're going to hit some road bumps doing this. The more that you understand, y'all, I don't mean just understanding what sublimation is. I don't mean just understanding what eco solvent is or even DTF and all of these different things. Some of you guys, don't get me wrong. Certain things may work out, right? And they might be a better, sometimes certain new things are great for people who are brand new to maybe get in, and that's what they know. But for some of you guys where you've already established and you've already started and you've already invested money into things, don't be so quick to jump on something just because someone does a video, does a TikTok, does all this stuff, because you never know how that's going to impact. And it can impact your business negatively if you try to do things that you are not ready for. It's, to me, I'm like, people now are trying to figure out the DTF hack for sublimation. I'm not trying to down anybody. And if it works for your business, it works for your business. But you also have to understand, I come on and I say certain things because my life is a little bit different. Some people that can go and say, well, it works for me. And, oh, who are you to say this? You also probably aren't someone that has hundreds of people that's in your inbox, that's on your videos, that's in your emails asking you about things. I love y'all, but I'm sick of y'all asking me about this DTF stuff. I know some people didn't see the video when I said I'm never going to do it. So when they see somebody else do it, it's like, oh, I know Shakia know. I know the professor gonna have an answer for this. She has to have tried this. No, I didn't, because baby, it don't make no sense. It's not something that is needed for me. It is not something that I feel like I need to add to my business. I'm not going to add stress. It's not going to sometimes add growth. Like sometimes we need to just focus on what the hell we got going on. And I'm saying that from experience, because as much as I wanted the print shop and we moved into the bigger space, I'm like, I wasn't ready to necessarily launch the print shop now and go and promote, because I know your girl bad. Okay. My designs is amazing. People love it when I design. They love the quality and my dedication to providing the best. So once I open up these floodgates, it's going to be hard to close it. But because we're working on so many other things, I have to be very smart in business and finalize and make what we already started. I have to automate that. I have to make sure that is a well-working machine, from getting our UPCs. What do we have to do now to where, if we're going to do the UPCs and we're going to change up certain things and we want to submit our products to different marketplaces, we have inventory already. The next batch will have the UPCs on it. But what's also going to happen now is, as we submit them, we now have to go through every last product. If we want to send 500 units of paper to Amazon, to Walmart, to wherever, guess what we have to do? We have to label 500 units. So then if I'm labeling that, I'm either going to have to be prepared for the growth of paying somebody else to do it. A lot of you guys operate in this space of the money is for you. You don't realize that sometimes just budgeting to pay somebody else, how much that can help your business. So even though, when we do it, it ain't going to be just us. Who I can tell you right now, it ain't going to be me at all. I'm just being honest. It's going to be even in his team. Pay who you need to pay to come help you. Because I got classes to figure out. Then it's okay, when are we going to do this? Because I'm trying to schedule classes. I cannot schedule classes and be to where I'm in here trying to teach, and they're out there trying to label 500 to 1,000 units of products with labels so they can be submitted to freaking Amazon or Walmart or any other marketplace. Yes, I want that growth, but then does that create a stoppage for anything else? Am I going to have to walk over people? Or when we do that, is it okay, we're going to do this. Maybe we need to go and y'all do that. And we're going to, don't do it here at the headquarters. Take all this paper back to the house. Y'all do this over there. Having to make a plan, being able to handle that growth. I am, man, look here, it behooves you guys to truly think about the growth that you want. And that growth can come. And there's ways to make major money. I will say the way that we are about to do these towels is not the way to make major bank on it, because I'm going to tie up one printer for a really long time. Even if I go get the other one, I'm now opening up a resource that I may not potentially need for a while. And I could potentially be in a situation where that dries up. I'm creating where I'm going to lose space. We didn't set up our space to account for yet another sublimation printer. So, trying to determine making that decision on bringing that, because it's where in the hell is it going to go? People ask, well, you want to get the 570? No, it would be nice. I have nowhere for it to go. So why would I go and now it's what do I have to move? Is it going to sit on the floor? Does it have to sit on my counter where that's my work surface for big? There's nowhere for it to go. Take an assessment of your workspace. All these machines can seem pretty cool to get, and it's working for them. They look like they're successful doing it, but you don't know the anxiety that they're going through. You don't know if the front, some people are not going to be willing to be vulnerable to get in front of their audience and say, this is hard. I struggled. I effed up. You're not going to ever see that from the majority of people. You're not going to see the real behind it and how many mess ups. how many things that they printed off and never sold. All you go is you see, oh, there's a wall full of transfers. This has to be an amazing thing to do to sell transfers. Well, why do they have to constantly keep running sales? It can't be to where it really costs $1 to make this. How much money are you really making if you're charging $1 for this transfer between your ink, your paper, your time? It had to be more than $1. Is it worth it in a sale to charge like for $1? Is it worth it in your transaction fees for somebody to be paying $1 for something when you have to give up 30 cents and then the percentage on top of that? So you have $1 sale, you ain't even made freaking what? Let me see. You take away the, well, for some people that's on Etsy. I think it's like, is it like 30s? Well, if you're on Etsy, you have your Etsy fees. You also have your processing fees, right? And I know for what is it for PayPal? Is it 30 cents and then like 2.6? And then for credit cards, well, look, don't have me lying. Let me tell y'all what it is. I really don't remember what it is. Hold on. I'll tell you exactly what our current merchant fees are. Um Um, Shop Pay is hmm? Oh, okay, I'm on this one. So 30 cents, 2.6 cents per transaction. I mean, of course, you would hope they would order more, right? And then no one's just going to pay like for something like pay $1 for it. But sometimes people have files that they charge $1 for. And if somebody comes on your site and they literally pay for that one file that you have for $1, off top, you've lost 30 cents. And then 2.6% of that dollar. Is it worth it, to run these sales? Sometimes you don't know why people are running sales, or it may look like it's just this amazing situation and you really don't. I don't ever mean to be harsh when I call. I've seen so many different things. I am privy to people coming to me with their woes. I have to deal with my own. And then when people come to me, that's why I say certain things. I do certain things the way that I do, because I don't think you guys understand what it's like to be me. And people are constantly pulling on you, and you're hearing all of these different horror stories, and you're trying to help all these people. People keep telling me, oh, you can't save the world. Well, I may not be able to, as far as but those who this is still my world. And my goal is to help business owners in the creative space as much as I can. So it is technically me trying to save the people within my ecosystem, within my world, to where I'm hoping that anything that I can say, whether it comes off motivating or not, that you see it for what it is and that you can take note from it, that I am truly trying to help you not struggle as much. You're going to make your own mistakes. You are going to make your own mistakes. Trust and believe it's not going to go perfect. But if I can provide some insight to where even when you make those mistakes, you don't dwell on those mistakes. If I did not know what I know when that machine acted crazy, I could have given up. And it was in the middle of the night. I couldn't call anybody to save me. I couldn't phone a friend because that literally was due. We walked out the door and she was literally pulling up because she had to go set up at 5 o'clock in the morning. As we walked out the door, she was pulling up to pick up her order. That's literally how late we went to. It may not come off as like politically correct sometimes, but I have made up in my mind that I'm going to be me, because regardless of how people feel, if you are offended and how I say something, do understand that it is always from a place of love and an obligation to helping the people in my world, in my ecosystem. So That's that. Let's see. Say it louder for the people in the back. Loving your energy. Thank you, King Willie 101. I like your name. Let's see. I missed a whole bunch of stuff over here. The caption is definitely the area I need help in. Hopefully this helped you. It was more so like my experience and being mindful of, are you ready? Because see, even is ready to like go full speed ahead, but I'm like, yo, slow down, Kimosabi. We're not quite ready for that yet. It's gonna come, but we like right now. I have to make sure I finish these. That was my neighbor that was calling, and I saw even that I answered is because my husband also texted me and said that our neighbor came by because they wanted some stuff. They have so before I read these comments, let me tell y'all something, right? I went and volunteered, when I say volunteer, but I went and made my business, aware to them that, hey, we do X, Y, and Z. We do this, that, and the third, kind of just naming off all the things that we do. And I'm now like, look, since this lady passed, our entire block has been filled with cars. I mean, we of course said, no problem. Hey, we are very neighborly. We understand. We've had events and we've had stuff. We live on a corner lot. So of course, our yard wraps all the way around. Park however you want. You can get more cars. If you're parked, slants or whatever, get more cars here. They've been all around our house. And I'm like, we got a big little plot of land and their cars. So now I'm like, the first thing he said when I answered the phone, he was like, yeah, we gonna need some shirts. Who is we? Because see, when I offer for shirts, I think I was probably thinking about like you, your child, your mother-in-law. Then I had to think about all the cars I'm constantly seeing on my Vivid. And I'm like, Lord, don't let it be that all these people that was in these cars, and these be different cars every single day. So come this funeral, it might be a whole lot of them that want some shirts, some cards, some bookmarks, some towels, some jewelry. Why I told these people, I was like, wait. When I answered it, he was like, oh yeah. And then I'm like, I'm looking at my husband's message, and I'm like, Shakia, girl, why you tell these people you do all this stuff? Girl, you got all these other orders. I'm like, oh my God, be careful about the shit you look. Be careful about the issue you tell people you do. Be very prepared. Before you go and say, I can do all this for a service. Y'all do know when somebody wants stuff for a funeral service, they need all that like right then, like within like a couple of days. Y'all do know that, right? I'm just saying, y'all do know that, right? And if all you got is like one printer and one heat press, people in morning tend to cuss you out worse than regular folk because they already dealing with a lot. If you ain't prepared and you don't have a right type of like personality, I'm gonna need you when you do memorials, do stuff like the anniversary of it, things that like keepsakes for them after the service. But when you take on jobs right in the midst of somebody's grieving, and you say you can do all things, but you're not prepared to do all things, be very mindful of that. So I was like, I need to help them print these rags out because I don't know. I have yet to speak with them. I don't know how many things they're going to want. But if it's any indication about the number of cars that's been around my house, I think I'm being for real. I think I just effed up. Y'all laughing over here. I'm being serious. I'm being very serious. I think I effed up. I'm like, I now need to think about like how many shirts I need to order. I need to know that ahead of time. Because do I need this is another part where with business, having a couple different resources. Because if they need shirts that I have like ordered from one place, I can't get it. I mean, do I have another place? Like I may not be able to order from where I normally order from. I might need to order from TSF, which is right here in Pompano, where I can just ride up there and get it because my regular one may not get it to me in time so I can actually fulfill this order. You have to have a business journal of A, B, C, and D. Honestly speaking, is amazing paper. Right now, we are out of the rolls. I don't want you guys to ever feel like you have to stop your business because we're out of a product. So I suggest you have a couple different companies that you can go to. And then, once we got rolls back, come on home. But, if we run out of paper, we run out of ink, y'all got to have resources. Because right now, I'm about to go through my business journal of all of my vendors. Once I speak to them, luckily I have inventory, although I'm kind of figure out how in the hell I didn't know I had 3X. I didn't have 3X shirts, Trina. So I have to now go through my inventory after I get their list and then see where I need to order from and if it's going to be here to where I'm not in this last minute situation. Then it's like, okay, y'all, because see, my family, they had a certain set of shirts for the wake and a certain set of shirts for the repast. Look. As much as I would love to probably do both, I will be okay. Let me do the funeral because that give you an extra day. Sometimes you may not be the person that's going to do everything for a company. And knowing when it's okay to say, okay, you might need all of this. You may do a certain part of it, but maybe outsource it. How many connections are you guys making? How much networking are you doing with people in your area? Or if you're not, y'all like to say, people on social media, strangers and stuff, those are the ones that support. Okay, well, how much networking are you doing in these Facebook groups that y'all love so much? How many people have you made a genuine connection with to where if you get in a bind, are they in your local area or at least they're close by to where, okay, I took on this order. I'm busy. Okay, let's divide this up. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. And then you have to be okay. That person's doing the majority of the work. So, okay, you get your little fee because, hey, they wouldn't have that work without you. But are you trying to hold on to all the money? So depending on how this job look, I might be calling on a couple of y'all in South Florida because, baby, she know a lot of people. So yeah, you need that Pompano info. TSF? Yeah, I mean, it's TSF. All right, so let's see. Exactly. You have to do what's best for you and your company, support in other ways. I'll take whatever you send. It's a blessing and much appreciated. I would love to have one chat or talk with you about my situation. How can I make that happen? Because I really believe you can help me figure this out. Send an email, the professor, and we can set up a time. Actually, and y'all noticed I haven't put out a call for pro calls. It's been a little minute since I've been able to do pro calls. But if you, send me a message. Where in the hell is it at? I have to reorganize these. There it is. Send me an email, the professor at hsink365.com. Send me as much information as you can, as well as your phone number, and I will reach out. I want to be booked and busy, but I know I'm not ready right now. This is confirmation that I need to keep preparing. You are telling us how it is. Never lied. I purchased all this stuff. Now I need a bigger house. And we moved our whole business operation to a bigger house. And I still feel like I'm out of space. Wish I lived near you. It would be a blessing just to volunteer or mentor under you as often as possible. So let me tell you something what's crazy about that, right? That's why I'm working on building this program where I can work with schools where it will still, of course, help our business, but because they are learning, you'll be surprised that there are some people that don't have that mindset that by coming to help and looking at it as a mentorship and being able to get real life experience in a full business, that some people they don't want it. They don't want to do it that way. When you've kind of offered and you're looking for people to help, they're like, okay, well, how much is going to pay? Because it's well, I can't walk away from or not do something for my business and not make money here, not realizing that you're gaining so much more. And it's not to say that we cannot I wouldn't pay somebody something, but it may not be to, okay, you're helping do this. You can't look at helping to do that job okay, you're going to make the profit from that job. You will basically be paid like a regular employee. And you'll be surprised at how many people don't see it that way, as far as like being mentored, like it's a mentorship and working under someone and getting the experience and really seeing someone's day-to-day life, because you only get a snapshot online. There's not a camera following me 24/7 where you get to see like every single move and what it takes. But when you're working with someone, you have to deal with the phone calls, you have to deal with the emails and deal with the messages and deal with the inbox or deal with being tagged all the time. It's a different situation when you're in it. And some people don't see it that way, to say, I would like to volunteer to be like, that would be a great experience. People have asked me like, okay, well, how much is it going to pay? I'm like, all right, then. She said, they will cuss you out quick. Oh, y'all are so sweet. Definitely getting my resources together, because with these hurricanes in Florida, I can't get shirts because shipping gets extended. And Nicole got to be African American. She got to be running on CPT. Girl, we don't get no storms this late in November. We almost done November 30th. I don't like these late storms. I'm going to increase my inventory next year. Know what you can handle. I would love to experience it. Also, with increasing your inventory, make sure that even with you increasing your inventory, that you have the workload and it's not going to sit there. For tax purposes, you don't want to have a lot of inventory sitting. You don't want to have a lot of inventory sitting because of how that is calculated. So once you get it, you want to actually use it. If you're sitting on a bunch of inventory at the end of the year, it's not going to be great for your tax numbers. So be very, 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 very mindful about how much inventory you guys bring in. And making sure that it matches. Like, you should really have a threshold and you should have a par level to where you know where you're going to order from. You kind of have an idea of, even with delays, how long it will take for it to get to you, especially if you're ordering overseas and you want to order it in a way where it's a lot more manageable and you're not left with a bunch of inventory at the end of the year. All right. In situations like that, I will subcontract it out. Again, you have to know who to subcontract things out to. Things like memorials, where with certain I've seen people, they'll say, okay, I'll subcontract stuff out. And I've seen people say, well, hey, my turnaround time is 5 to 7 days. So you have to have a list of subcontractors that you can subcontract things out to. And you don't, like, when you have more time to wait for it to get here. But if it is something where you need it right then and there, this is, again, where your business journal and having resources written out, where you can go to someone that, even if their turnaround time, let's say, is like 3 or 4 days, it's still going to put you in an area where, like, you can still fulfill your order. So subcontracting doesn't always work out if their processing time is outside of the time frame that you need it. Since I haven't been full-time for the whole year yet, I'm looking forward to being able to forecast, looking at the numbers from the previous year. Looking at numbers from the previous year definitely helps you set a budget, but even from quarter to quarter to quarter. Hold on. Look. See, maybe there's a reason why. Look at God. Yeah. Y'all don't understand how much I want. Okay. Let's see it for who was paying attention, right? I'm sitting here running my mouth, right? And I said that I should have been doing what? Let's see who was paying attention. Because I was sitting here running my mouth. I said, what I really should have been doing was, what should I have been doing? Let's see who was paying attention. I'm going to tell you about the message I just got. And I'm about to sit here. Look, I'll tell y'all right now, I break out in tears. I'm a very emotional person, and I break out in tears, like, over everything. And especially, don't let it be something where it's a confirmation from God. Whoo, shut up. I can feel it down in my shanana. Baby, I will break out in praise and cry in a heartbeat. I should be printing, right? I should be printing them towels. Why I just got a message and said that because of this storm, the game will be delayed. Do you know how mad I would have been if I would have been around here printing out stuff? Or what I even say, I probably still they're gonna still have it, right? So, like, if I would have went and set up that other 7720, when now I just might have a whole extra week to print these things. Down in my shanana, Jesus. Look here, baby. Look at God. Be around here talking to y'all for a good hour and 20 minutes. Baby, he may not come when you want him, but he'll be right on time. Because I was about to get off here with y'all and be like, I got to go print some stuff out. But then she said, hold up. Pause on that. I'm waiting on the lead. Girl, hold up. See, I knew it was a reason why I was on live. Because had I just come here and just got straight to work and didn't come on here and deliver this message that the Lord put on my heart, babe, I ain't gonna lie, I would have been a little upset. So be printing these suckers out or going in the rain. It's a storm. Did I mention it's a storm here? I would have had to go in the middle of the storm to the storage unit to get a whole printer that was going to get wet because, baby, it's wet outside. It's wet, okay? I'm not in a position where I can back up a truck to the loading dock and it go from dry to dry. Baby, it's going to go from dry to a whole lot of wet to dry. And that's a whole printer. So I was going to have to go. And did I not mention the fact that my husband is at home with my kids? So I would have had to be the one to go and get that printer by myself. Ooh, you's a good guy. You's a good guy. Hey, you's a good guy. Hey. Won't he do it? Yes, he will. Jesus. Chabu. He heard me. Oh, he heard me. Jesus, he heard me. He heard me. Because the storm don't even know when the game going to be at. I'm going to start printing because, I mean, they might sneak up on you, girl. But I was worried. When God, let me tell you. When they tell you not to be worried, if you got faith, I was worried about having to set this printer up. Y'all, some people thinking like it's just a printer. You already got. When it was gonna go. I can print out now and be comfortable with printing from this one printer if I had to, because I'm not worried about it like printing slow or not getting them done. So no matter when it is, they're gonna be printed out. And then, because it's honestly speaking paper, it's gonna take all of a good 30 seconds to press that thing up. Yes, God. She's excited. She's excited. Hey. That's a burden lifted off my shoulders. I was like, no, like for real. I was seriously in a whole anxiety attack about setting up a printer. Because in my mind, I'm like, where's it gonna go? Like, it's going to be in the way. Like, I would have to move things that are set up to make space for this, and it will literally be in the way for this one thing. Oh. On that note, I'm about to go eat. Oh, baby, I'm going to tell you. I'm about to cry. Now, I'm going to go when the rain stops. Because we're probably going to send you one of the 7720s. Because I don't too much like, I mean, it's good. Don't get me, the 7820 is great, especially for tumblers. It's amazing. Amazing. It's just that when you have to send a bunch of stuff, and print a little slow. So I'm about to get off of here. I'm going to start printing. But I don't have, like, I'm not rushed. Like, I ain't got to run in the rain and go get this at the printer. So yeah, we're going to print those out. If you are on TikTok, I'm going to end up stopping this live, starting again. Y'all want to come hang out with me, just pick my brain about business as I print these things out and do some other stuff. Join me over on the Tickety Talk, and I will be live over there. Just shitting. Actually, I'm not even in this live. Y'all just come on over. It's live over here. Shakia the Professor, and I will be live over here. printing this stuff out and prepping and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. I need some of that thick heat tape. I had some issues last night using transfer. We got it, girl. It won't go out today though. We're in the middle of a storm. So it won't go out today, but it'll definitely go out tomorrow. Because even is not in the office. And last time I packed some orders, I've never openly admitted this, but I was missing some stuff in an order. So I don't touch them anymore. Don't tell even. I admitted to that, okay? I don't touch orders at all. That was not me. So yeah, but it's up there. Hold on, look. Boom. You're going to get that one or that one. That's the 6-inch. Yeah. And then there's the 4-inch. That's an 8. We don't sell the 8. But, oh wait, y'all can't see it over there. So that is the 8, but we sell the 6 and the 4. It looks so weird because my finger is right on it on TikTok, but over here it looks weird because now I have to go like this. But on TikTok, it's way off. So definitely go on the site and order you some tape. He's not in the office. He's at home with the kids. Oh, why am I whispering? Because he's not here. Yeah, that is true. I don't know why I was whispering. But I can't, I'm telling y'all now, I can't pack orders. I really can't. I can't do it. Look, I don't know if some of y'all remember when I tried and I put in my 2-second notice back in the, this was what, last year? And I had to put in my 2-second notice. From that point on, I don't mess with my inventory. That's why I said when it's time to put all these labels on it to sell on these marketplaces, all these UPCs, don't call me. If you call me, I'm calling out of work that day. Don't call me to put no labels. I got kicked out your warehouse like a year ago. And I said, forget that. I'm putting in my 2-second notice. Damn, 2 weeks. Put in my 2-second notice. And I don't bother that man and his inventory and how he do stuff. Talking about something. It got to go black, cyan, magenta, yellow. And you got... So, yeah. You remember that? It's so crazy because technically for me, even when I have a personal account, it's always business. So technically this is my business one. However, for like just to share when we're doing orders and stuff, there will be one. So I don't have one that's under like, honestly speaking, or HS Inc. Like you can see, like my logo, my profile picture is still my business one. So I'm known as Shakia the Professor. So technically this is my business TikTok, but we will have one for HS Inc. prints, HS Inc. 365 prints, where you guys will, I'll try and do some content when we're doing orders and like printing stuff and all that kind of good jazz. But this is kind of both. It allows me to be myself. This is me all the time, even in business. This is just me. So it's kind of a little bit of both. So you're in the right place. All right. All right, y'all. Until next time, have a great one. Visit the website, shop. I'm going to put that one up there. Either one will get you there. www.hsinc365.com or shop.hsinc365.com. Either one will get you to the website. And that's where you're going to find our amazing sublimation paper. It need to have some chapstick because, baby, my lips are dry. Our amazing sublimation ink. Our ink comes in 140 milliliter. Do y'all see the color? Raise your hand if you still using sublimation ink that's brown, like doo-doo brown in the bottle. Raise your hand. Do you see the color on that ink? Isn't she lovely? Isn't she wonderful? Hey, that's the first time I sang this whole live. it would have been alive if I didn't break out in song. But we have 140 milliliter bottles, and our packs are 100 pack sheets, 100 sheet packs, 120 GSM. shop.hsink365.com. All right, y'all. On this side, I'll talk to you later. On this side, we're gonna. After I go get some chapstick, why y'all don't be telling me I be looking like Pookie? I don't look at my monitors. I look at the cameras. Hello. I am an actress. I have done theater. I have done video, and I've done I look at the camera. I don't look at the monitors. Why y'all ain't tell me I was out here looking like Pookie? Dang it. Let me go find me some chapstick, and we'll talk to y'all in a minute. All right, y'all. Until next time, have a great one. Continue to unlock your creativity and be incredible. Peace.